26, and I trust situations or proceedings showing the legislative stability and responsibility on the show of Oᴏᴜᴜ Akinade, and every Monday to demand for good governance and more or reference to have a life, and of course he's a politician candidate of Africa. Dig deep into all of these things. Good to have you join us, comrade.
And it's probably the first time this year.
Yeah. So, how do you put somewhere a week ago you were
if you manage your time very well, you could it gives you when I'm arrested.
Question. I read somewhere the day he could get picked up.
It was the
election. It's something you have about a year ago where you were 33 and good governance that you've always been asking for.
I know the answers to it, and the answer was at a point participating in partisan politics time ago, that leadership is not as difficult as people make it sound. It has put in place and start leaders to govern them. So you still have a right to be governed by whomever is occupying the position of leadership. So what is the moment you have all those, whether the bad leaders are bad or good enough? Simple, it's pathetic. And that this country continues to rotate on that axis of failure, right? Not because we can't get it right, because getting right is actually simple. That certain things will not repeat, continue to occupy this. The moment you are clear about it, you can decide to revolt against. And this is not even crime. This is just fundamental that we made a mistake and we don't want you. And he would walk from that swearing-in place, like I said. What people are missing is a particular political order, the legislative arm, and to govern. The people are likely afraid to tackle the real issues, and then you get to go and solve a small problem somewhere, go and send their wars. And your president of democratic orders, even though the power they did in Minnesota, that's how you get to say, oh, the judge doesn't know what he's doing. The system is so. What I'm saying in a sense, spasmodically, occasionally, when sometimes leaders will leak, I think somebody was even saying it. But I don't think that anybody needs to print newspapers that the news is also an accomplice in a lot of ways. They don't, likely these days, you can get the press to report what is not happening correctly. That is out there, able to capture events. So that sector it's difficult to sift through. Is also now involved in throwing and disinform,
counter sift things out. Because I was going to understand that the come on board studio. I've read things into this commercial, right?
There is get us to where we are today. If you want to damage the ability of the public to come together, one of the things you go after is education. And then you get the universities in a spellbound. You are so instead of an can write very well, but they may not be able to read. Who had put out a lot of people. I've never been as they can have to stand still in Minnesota to go because wild anymore. Yes, there are no lot of women in the US to tell you this things has been going wrong all along, and there's honesty.
We're about 66.5 push agenda. Young people that can also, on the narratives. So we have these people not keen into the. Is it difficult to reach this set of individuals?
So following, it's not a. Then you follow, you become more stupid than you were. This consciousness, that if they can connect to it, it's not that because it's not oppression. They are in upper. Black people were treated to the station, and policemen several times. Those kind of chilling Steve Biko story. Biko was better treated than because it is only in appetite African citizen of your for a fellow citizen to say you can't. I can't run anywhere. So why are you restricting me? Our failure to teach history happened in America. There will be 5 movies. Number 1, New York best, not by any of the parties. One thing about history is that they may not be honest, but it would exist. We don't have that. We don't have to start writing history. It's to be misreporting events as they are happening.
Okay, I want to talk about let's look at how our democracy over the years have not around the mode of transmission. 90% of
90% of them will not. I've changed my position since then. I think 99% of them would not have
it's
made
no longer 90%.
Yes.
Incredible
And democratic,
election.
credible election. Even Akpabio would not have made it to this Senate. Because he never won in primaries. Primary elections in part would compete finally. Lawan, that's what I meant. So if the Senate president himself couldn't have, it applies to fair in this country. All of us. This is not new consciousness. Well, that it was going to constitute a problem. And I made another statement during a protest. Not taking you very far. But, you know, there are sometimes that you just want to quench the thirst. And the thirst, look at this, the way this guy's messed up the elections. But it should actually give you the results you want to know. It's the reason why I am more racist. It's out and it can be hacked into worse. But the advantage is that every individual will have a if I send you money, you don't call me back again, you go and look for your bank. Removed. If you send 25,000 naira,
25,000 I would drop.
If you look at the thing they call beavers, it was never even a popular because it's a go to India. They have nobody doubts it because it was seized by the police because it has a tracking device in it. You know. Secondly, what made them give me back the camera was what am I telling you? Is not using America is not organized by, is not announced by INEC. Calling results that the secretary of the has got in his system, almost likely a foolproof system, to show that you can at least try when we can do it right.
Okay. About 92% of the offices contested for in the last elections.
How do you position it us? Are you getting my point? We're not going to be credible, and we open all kinds of avenues for ourselves. Election judges have almost an affairs. Judges are trying to decide candidate, and after the election, they're trying to decide who the decision of 25 million people is not valid. And they what is on law. I get notice, and I can say that for almost all the judges to go and serve in election tribunal cases. It's his head because the judge. What you see with the Electoral Act trying to is because that becomes a constitutional provision.
The decision becomes
the determinant of the details.
Steps are the more always want to come back and to election. It's not just a win. It's very important. Why do you?
Let me tell you, which is have trackers for ballot boxes. Yes. 12 to third majority. Because Awolowo clearly won the presidency in 1979. So people just make it sound like technology just came now. They was looking at their wives on the heavy it was. But look at cell phones now, Motorola. If you go and buy 4K, 8K with a phone, and that you need to take it slow, they are not taking it slow with technology. They are building match light comes on, and when they clap,
it's not valid
from 30,000 feet in private jets deliberately. Because what people don't also understand is that
better decision.
I was driving behind a guy on my way here, and he was in a RAV4 with a driver driving him. But it's class mentality. But if you're living in the US, get them insurance and all kinds of things. By the time you have to deal with the trains are there. I can take a bike. There's a bike route. It's not less than 100.
You'll be humble.
Yes, you'll be humble because you are wearing an expensive suit. They don't, because the own rules defined by
how many cars there.
The quality of their vacation. They'll be looking at you like, are you mad?
Vacation to where?
To where? That I haven't seen it, but I would say that I don't want in Nigeria that gives my family member. Somebody send me a message from Facebook, and the police. That's the people we should care about, because how can we in a police station overnight sleeping in? So it hurts me. So when I called the DPO and I said, give this guy. But I said, those are the people that matter. You know, Because those are the 56 countries.
Commissioner, let's talk about the 2020 would be in 2026. The primaries, the convention would most likely be in 2026. We're going to talk, as at this time last year, they had about 14 governors. Give and take, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Edo, all of them have gone to the really not progressive. Now 46 out of 360 reps members are all in the office, also building up the coalition in that space. Then there's the Labour Party, a lot of income. Do you think we can actually make any difference, a little departure from what we had in 2023?
You know, I'm talking about, even at the times that it was difficult to answer, you see, we are making calculations and extrapolate to change anything. And that is why I have never wanted to be, takes me back to youth. When we talked about young people earlier, and it was almost a taboo to discuss Labour Party in 2022. And I was telling them, I was like, these guys, I know them well enough to know a lot of influencers. It was how they built a band or shadow band. So to take down my account, they make unpopular, they're not very careful. In fact, elections, we only need 180 days. With that, deputies, you act all the national weight of registered vote 99. And fifth elections are still boosts idiots. So I've devised that there are sometimes that the first time anybody, hopefully a green card system that's a little bit of a positive, just wake up and say, oh my God, well, some political uprising is not. So that's that youth constituency. We talk about the youth, the politicians are hearing them loud enough to say, wow, we are going in a different direction.
Is it?
I tell that with content, with consciousness, but analog ways of activism. You know, I know people who used to challenge me. Yes, and like, what's wrong with you? Wait until your wife divorces you on Facebook. You will know that you need an account. So, but on a serious note, you can't ignore the US government of information. It's sent back economic information back to them. They won't sell your shampoo to you, your sugar, your tea that was taken from your backyard. Need information from you, but yes. 2023,
expecting in 2027.
One thing I've always stated around the country of Nigeria and outside Nigeria, there were 80 political parties, and then there were about 90 something political parties everywhere. And I almost asked parties, but we didn't set up our own. It's taken by political parties, and there's one of the drivers for it.
Well, the phone lines have, I think, is one person I can be so sure of that. Publisher marriage, I always bring, and I'm like, in conversation on the show today. We've talked about how the legislative arm of government you've got to go back to our social media, streaming at FM.
Good evening, by the grace of God.
Thank you.
You will live.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
You're welcome.
Good evening, Ophemi.
You're welcome.
Corruption crusade being championed by this. Don't tell us the whereabouts of that money. Do you think that money can be recovered? That is one. Secondly, sir, the insecurity, the devil in Nigeria, where some group of people that what do you think will be the solution of this insecurity? Do you think this government can fight it?
Very much, Mr. Roberts. We'll pick the calls, and then I'm sure Commercial will respond to all of.
God bless you. Yeah, I
think you try and call back. I would really appreciate if you can. 0913-600-0410. We'd also have to read the messages that we have on our social media platforms, our facebook.com/Milan98.3 FM. Okay. That is the masses. We're waiting for Ghana to come. Is enough for all of this by their hands. And when you have people, sure it gets better. Thank you. That is Festus from Ikorodu on Nigeria. Okay. We got a bit late. We also have messages on Facebook. So we'll read the messages that
the kind of question that corruption, if there's anyone president, how APC and keep his thought till he gets what he wants from there, and he now bring out his own blueprint. This is only way, because if you continue hailing from outside, so why not just join it and keep your blueprint? Then when you not get to the top.
Very much, Comrade Alava. Individual speaking true to power like Comrade Ola from Ijai. Okay.